this Mark's Reviews and Tutorials video. Again, we're pulling apart a Klever Kleener K-bot. I've got another video, have a look up here, about where to replace the cable on one of these. But this time we've got it just driving for a little bit and then stopping. And there's a couple of things we've noticed wrong. Firstly, have a look under here. This is just take these screws, two screws out to get into there. There's supposed to be an impeller here, or a propeller. If you have a look, those guys are supposed to be on there. And all three of those have snapped off. So I don't know if the sticks got caught down or what's gone on, and maybe one broke and it got caught up with all the rest. But all three of those are snapped off. So there's a definite problem with that. As that's pumping, that not only provides the suction to pull the leaves and debris up from the bottom, but it also presses the cleaner down to hold it on the bottom or hold it on the wall. So no propeller, it's not going to suck, and it's not going to hold the cleaner down onto the bottom either. So what we've done, we've undone the 4 screws here, and then on the inside you've got the little screws, not the ones attached to the handle, but on where that purple is there, over there, undone those 4 screws. And then once you've got those out, then this top, just a bit of a wiggle, will come up. Remember, it's all plastic, so be careful with it, but that'll just come up like that. So you're left with this here. This is the motor assembly, that part there. There's 2 motors in these. There's a drive motor, goes through the side and drives your tracks. There is the motor which drives the propeller up here. So inside here, there's a motor running that way and a motor running that way. Now, I've checked, there's no water gotten inside of this, so that's not what's an issue. Cable's all good. So what we need to do is actually, I was going to say have a look at the bearings, but have a look right up front at that bearing there, because this, when it was running, was making a grinding, cracking type of noise. And there you go, the bearing has carked it and fallen to pieces. So that's what needs to be replaced. So for now, there's just little screws in here, and here, and we'll take that side plate off, and that'll access the bearings. And again, when you're replacing one bearing, I would recommend replacing the whole set that's down here on the drive wheels, as well as the drive bearings up here. So we'll pull out that next panel and have a better look. But as you can see, that bearing is supposed to be over there, and all together it's totally come to pieces. So that's causing the friction. This has been smart enough to stop. It just runs for a little bit and then stops. It's known there's been too much friction here, and it's stopped, which is a really good thing. So getting that cover off, it's just a matter of pushing back those clips, and there's one here, the black thing as well. They just clip under here, here, and here. You just press them back and then vertically lift up where you've unscrewed it. The screws go into the bearing centers here. As you can see, that's in pieces. That one's also worn out. It's not supposed to be flopping all over the place like that. And if you have a look here at this bearing, you see the gap. See how it's rubbing at the front and there's a big gap at the back? That's also not right. So this guy, all of the bearings are in trouble. So have a look at the links I'll put through. I've got the pricing on all the bearings and tracks and places you can buy it all. But sometimes when these guys get this far gone, depending on what else we've done, and have a look in here, see the cracks in the tread. So it's treads as well. Sometimes it really is better just to replace it with a new unit. And I'll put a link through my recommendation. So no matter where you are in the world, what I actually recommend is a Hayward Tiger Shark. They are very similar in design with the track, the bearings and all the rest of it, but I've just found them to be a really good, reliable unit. Have a look at the links, in the description, have a look at the link. I'll put a link up there to one that shows the Tiger Shark in action. Very, very similar to this. And instead of the bag that this has got cartridges, which are a lot easier to clean. But anyway, have a look, and you can have a look at buying one of those. If you're after the one that I recommend, I service a lot of these guys, so that's the one that I think is the inside this unit now, because as we pulled it apart, just more and more things went wrong. We've now determined that I thought this motor might have been stopping. It only ran for a few seconds at the start and then stopped. I thought that might have been because it was such heavy friction on the side where it was driving, but that's not the case. It still does the same without any friction at all. So the motor is gone as well. So this unit is sayonara. It's going to be replaced with a Tiger Shark, as I mentioned earlier, because yeah, this is done. But I just wanted to show also, if you've got your unit and you're repairing it, the drive on this side where the motor comes out, it drives the belt, the yellow drive track comes around here under a bearing, and then around. And on the other side, you see this is just following. There's no drive shaft out of the motor, it's all sealed off. There's nothing there at all. And this track, it drives down here on the wheels, they turn, which in turn are paired up and turn there. So this just follows on this side. There's no drive. On the Tiger Shark I mentioned, there's a drive out both sides. This one just tracks along, it just follows along. So it's like a car with only one wheel driving. But these are a good basic unit and they do a great job. But so therefore the parts are separate for the bearings and so forth on the drive side. And over here, it's just the central shaft here, which runs with the drive track and the key, and obviously a different size track, so it doesn't have to come up and over the top.